deaths and hospitalizations are drastically down in places where people are getting vaccinated. But unfortunately, cases and hospitalizations are not going down in many places in the lower vaccination rate states. They're actually going up in some places. The new variant will leave unvaccinated people even more vulnerable than they are a month ago.
President Biden today with a warning to the unvaccinated, pushing to get 70% of American adults at least partially vaccinated by the 4th of July. Today, we're at 65%, a major feat in record time, but still likely to end up short with just over 2 weeks to go. And with Biden today saying only 15 states have met his goal so far, and all of them states he won last year, his administration's got a very uphill climb at the community level, where Americans are more often swayed by their neighbors or maybe their favorite country western star than political leaders. That brings us to one of my favorite country western superstars, Brad Paisley, who has made it his mission to encourage people to take the shot. He joins us now, Grammy Award-winning country music singer and songwriter Brad Paisley. Thank you, Brad. Thanks for being here. So here's the thing. I'm looking at my state, and I'm looking at the places where people aren't getting vaccinated. And as you know, in very small communities, it is way more important to them what their next door neighbor, what their friend at church, what the guy they work with, what all those people say and think about vaccinations, not what people in Washington say, or frankly, even people on TV. But country music has an ability to reach these people. And you are one of the stars that has taken your time to say to people how important it is to get vaccinated. What can we do in these rural communities that are so hardened and resistant to the idea of protecting themselves and their families?
You know, that's a great question. I feel like, knowing my people, where I come from, I'm from West Virginia, very similar to where you're from, and a small town of 1,200 people. This is the kind of community where immediately, if a house is on fire, before the fire department can get there, there's a line of people with buckets. They're trying to put the fire out already. They band together. They do what it takes to help their neighbor. And so I think they've been, all of my fans have been fed. They're seeing disinformation everywhere. And they're being told that the water doesn't put the fire out. So it's a really strange thing to try and be louder than that disinformation. And I think that when they realize it's the patriotic thing, when they realize that this is for the greater good, they will do it. And I also think the incentives work, the carrot on a stick, like the idea of positive reinforcement, where tickets are given to people who are vaccinated. And I like the lottery systems that states are doing. I like the fact that Governor Justice in West Virginia did $100 a person when they got vaccinated. It's like, it's a shame we have to, but at the same time, whatever it takes, because the variant, it's coming.
Yeah, the Delta variant, I know, is rampant in rural Missouri. I'm sure it is in rural Tennessee. And Rev, briefly, you've got the same resistance in some of the urban areas.
Yeah, what Brad is saying it is the same in urban areas, black areas. And I think that validators like Brad and our community ministers and others, and in many ways, we all speak to a base. I mean, I'm not known as a country and western fan, but I have a preacher friend of mine, Brad, that plays Whiskey Lullaby like it was a gospel song. So, I mean, we all somewhere get things the same way. I think if all of us talk to the people we can get a message through, then all of us can help do this.
So, Brad, this is a little bit of an awkward question for you, but are there a lot of country superstars at your level that are afraid to talk about getting vaccinated because they're afraid of some kind of backlash from their fans?
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thing I really have not had this discussion with many. I know a lot of people have encouraged their band and crew. My entire band and crew and anyone that's going down the road is vaccinated. And they were really great about it. I just basically encouraged it and said, we're going to meet people in every state. It's safest if we go there with this armor on. And they went and did it. I think there's, it's an interesting thing when you look at what happens and how this became what it is. I think back to the original anti-vaccine movement and which sort of started, I think, I see it, and I could be wrong, but I see it as almost starting with the Hollywood elite that didn't want their kids vaccinated because of a bunk report. And I think there's a level of reaching these folks that you have to say, look, the way to be the most productive citizen, the way to be the person that helps is to get this. The patriotic thing to do, when you raise your arm and say, America, get a shot in it. That's the way you're the most patriotic. And I think they would like to think, I don't think they understand necessarily just all of the things that go into this about the patriotic moment we're in and how as a nation we are stronger with this, because I think you're going to have a choice. The choice is you get the vaccine and you don't get COVID. The other choice is you get the COVID and you don't get the vaccine. And it kind of feels like it's a really important patriotic moment for all of us.